So friends, today marks the beginning of an epic saga. At the start of our story, we get a view of the Yulan continent, a world divided into several parts. The eastern lands are ruled by 4 major empires, while in the west, 2 powerful alliances hold their reign. But between all of this lies a third region, an area that remains a mystery to this day, and no one knows what exists inside it. This is where we meet our main character, Linley, who is only 7 years old, but circumstances have made him mature way beyond his age. He has come here to fight a boy older than him. Linley belongs to the Baruch clan, which was once a royal family, but today their condition has become very weak and fragile. The match begins. The opponent is a rank 1 warrior, while Linley's rank is still 0. As the fight starts, the boy rushes at Linley and beats him mercilessly. The onlookers watch the show and laugh, saying this kid has only come to get beaten up. Linley's condition was getting worse, but both fear and a fire were burning together in his heart. He knew if he lost, how would he face his father? His father, Hog Baruch, had high expectations for him, and Linley did not want to disappoint him. Then comes a moment when he gathers all his remaining strength, and slowly stands up on his feet again. This time, something had changed in his eyes, a different energy and a strange passion. He strikes back at the rank 1 boy so hard that he leaves him half dead. Finally giving up, the boy apologizes to Linley in a trembling voice and says, "Forgive me, I didn't know you were this amazing. I was only doing all this because Johnny told me to." Johnny, who hates Linley, burns with anger from inside seeing all this. The fruits that were at stake in the match are given to Linley, but showing his kindness, Linley distributes all the fruits among his friends. Now he had only one deep desire in his heart, that he must pass the Dragonblood warrior test today at all costs to change his future. On the other side, his father Hog Baruch, the lord of the Baruch family, looks deeply worried, because today's test was not just an exam but a final judgment, which would decide whether Linley could ever become a Dragonblood warrior or not. Passing this test was not just a success for Linley, it had become a matter of life and death. The Baruch clan had a harsh and bitter rule. If any son of this family fails to become a Dragonblood warrior, then his cultivation stops forever at rank 6. Meaning, even if he wants to, he can never progress beyond that in his entire life. But if someone successfully becomes a Dragonblood warrior, then he can reach the ultimate peak of power from where he can rule the entire world on his fingertips. Linley's father, Hog, was himself only a rank 6 warrior, a stage where he had finally accepted his fate. But even today, a ray of hope was alive in his eyes, and that hope was Linley. He often used to tell him, "Son, I couldn't reach that destination, but it is my dream that you revive our legacy once again." The Baruch family was no ordinary house. Its history was centuries old, and its echo could still be heard through the walls of time. In their veins ran the magical blood that could enslave even the most terrifying dragons. The foundation of this clan was laid by the Azure Dragon, an event where a great Saint Realm cultivator destroyed a terrifying black dragon and then joined forces with the Azure Dragon to lay the foundation of the Baruch legacy. But time never shows mercy to anyone. As generations passed, that special bloodline began to fade away. Years went by, but not a single Dragonblood warrior was born. Now the situation was such that this once glorious clan was on the verge of extinction, like someone counting their final breaths. Finally, the moment everyone was waiting for arrived. Linley stood before his father, his heart racing and his breaths heavy. His father encouraged him and said, "Don't be afraid, son, no matter what the result is, I will always be proud of you." As soon as the formation activated, a strange energy spread through the air. Linley put his entire life into it, and threw every single hope into that very moment. Everyone thought that maybe a miracle would happen today and fate would change. But unfortunately, the light that rose as a beam of hope slowly began to fade, and then it went out completely. The formation shattered, and with it, shattered a great hope. Linley had failed the test. Tears filled his eyes, and in a broken voice he said, "Father, please forgive me. I have disappointed you." But his father held him close and said in a gentle voice, "What disappointment, son? When your father himself could not achieve this rank, how can I blame you? You gave your absolute best, and that is more than enough for me. But reality is very cruel." The financial condition of the Baruch family had fallen so low that to survive, they had to sell the valuable items and heritage of their ancestors, one by one. When Linley saw a stranger carrying away items from their house, something broke inside him, and at the same time, something ignited. His blood began to boil, but he was completely helpless. He went straight to his room and began practicing like a man possessed. With every single strike, it felt as if he was fighting his own destiny. The door opens softly, and his younger brother Wharton walks in. His innocent voice breaks the silence of the room. "Big brother, father is selling my favorite statue too." Linley pauses for a moment and, composing himself, says, "Father is not doing this by choice, he is forced to do it." Wharton stays quiet for a few moments and then gives an innocent suggestion. "Brother, why don't we play hide and seek with father in the Ancestral Hall to cheer him up?" Ancestral Hall! The moment this name hit Linley's ears, a flash of lightning went through his mind. A place that had been locked up for the past 100 years, and where nobody ever went. He looked at Wharton and said in a low voice, "Go and sleep comfortably. I have some important work to do." The Ancestral Hall was an old storeroom where the memories of Linley's grandfathers and ancestors lay buried in dust. There was a strange silence in the air, as if every single object was hiding a secret within itself. Linley was searching through every item, holding an unbreakable belief in his heart that somewhere here he would definitely find a clue to change his destiny. But time passed by, and he found absolutely nothing. His hopes slowly began to shatter, and his heart grew heavy. Then suddenly, his hand hit an old cupboard, and it came crashing down to the floor. Amidst that cloud of dust, something caught the light. A small ring rolled out from beneath the debris. Linley's gaze locked right onto it. It was no ordinary ring. Carved upon it was the azure dragon. Without a second thought, Linley keeps it with him. On the other side, Linley's father Hogg was restless. He tells his advisor to call Linley immediately. When Linley stands before him, there was a strange calmness on his face, as if he had already understood everything beforehand. Before his father could say a word, Linley spoke up. "Father, I know what you want to say. If I cannot become a Dragonblood warrior, I too will stop at rank 6 for life, just like you and grandfather." Hearing this, his father remained silent for a few moments, and then a deep sense of pride clearly reflected on his face. There was no fear left in Linley's eyes, only a rock-solid determination. "Father, I have never learned to give up. I will revive our legacy once again, just place your trust in me." The very next day, Linley reaches his trainer Hillman. Hillman's voice echoes, "Sweat it out today, so you can sleep peacefully tomorrow." The rest of the kids drop down from exhaustion, but Linley just doesn't stop. Be it rain, storm, or his body breaking with pain, he keeps on practicing. People started thinking he was going crazy, but the fire burning inside him was visible to no one. His goal was crystal clear: to achieve rank 1. The day of the test arrived. A heavy stone was placed in front, which had to be broken with a single punch. But behind the scenes, a conspiracy was brewing. Johnny, with hatred in his eyes, had already made his move. In place of the real stone, he had placed a rock, which was impossible to break even with a heavy hammer. He was smiling to himself, thinking a big scene would unfold today. Linley steps forward and throws the first punch, which puts cracks on the stone. But a storm had already risen inside Linley. He clenched his fist and gathered all his energy, all his anger into that single strike. And then, with a powerful roar, he slammed his punch down. The stone that was supposed to be impossible shattered instantly into pieces across the ground, just like glass. The entire field went dead silent. Linley was now officially a rank 1 warrior. Johnny's eyes went wide with shock, and he started screaming like crazy. "This is cheating! This is impossible!" But Hillman's eyes had already figured out everything. His voice was cold, yet carried a dangerous fire. "How do you know so much about this stone, Johnny? Could this game belong to you? If the truth comes out, remember the consequences." Johnny's face turned completely pale, but the hatred deep inside his heart grew even darker. But the story does not end here. Suddenly, disaster struck from the heavens. The entire Yulan continent shook violently as a terrifying attack hit the town. Ferocious magical beasts from the third region, that unknown territory, were causing havoc everywhere. In the sky, a dreadful battle had broken out between two extremely powerful Saint Realm cultivators. On one side was a grand warrior riding a fierce velocidragon. and on the other side his enemy was launching deadly strikes from atop a massive black dragon. The clash between them was no ordinary fight, but a devastating domain clash.